back to my channel. I'm getting really excited because the Winter Olympics are coming up so soon. They start this Friday, February 4th in Beijing, and I can't wait to see all of the athletes compete. I will be honest, I'm more of a Summer Olympics fan, but I get really excited to see some of the different events that are going on in the Winter Olympics. So to get you and your students ready, I've pulled together some fun books about the Olympics, as well as some books about setting goals and perseverance, because I think those are really important to talk about around this time as well. But first, if you're new here, my name is Sarah, and I show up on this YouTube channel every Sunday night with read aloud tips and book ideas that you can bring into your classroom that week. If that sounds like something you're interested in, give this video a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below. Now, let's talk about some books about the Olympics. The first book that I have is Olympic, the triumphant story of an underdog. In this story, Boomer the pig is so excited about the Olympics. He can't wait to start competing and start winning. But then things don't turn out quite as he expected. The other athletes are a lot better than he is, and he comes in last in event after event. He starts to get really frustrated and ends up quitting. After all of this, his mom goes on TV and he's thinking, oh man, I lost all these things, I did horrible, and then I quit. My mom must be so embarrassed. But she gets on TV and says she's so proud of him for trying and at working hard. And he decides, you know what? I'm gonna give it one last try. And well, he doesn't win, but Boomer realizes that believing in yourself is a lot more important than winning. I think this is an important story for kids, but one that they'll get some laughs out as well. A fun book for reading before the Olympics. Another book that I have is Tacky and the Winter Games. In this book, Tacky discovers that all his friends are training for the Winter Olympics. And he decides he's gonna join them, but his training doesn't look exactly like theirs. They're eating really healthy meals and he's eating some pizza. They're going to bed at the same time every night and he's staying up late watching TV. So then when the Winter Games roll around, his teammates are all ready and Tacky's not really ready, and he causes an awful lot of mishaps throughout the entire Olympic Games. And in the end, he does probably the craziest thing yet, but can he win that gold medal for his team? You'll have to read this one with your class to find out. The next book that I have is Snowman Paul and the Winter Olympics, and I don't actually have the book, but this is what it looks like right here. Snowman Paul really wants to try out for the Olympics, and he ends up coming in first place, but he may have cheated his way there. His friends call him out on it and he admits to cheating and really learns his lesson along the way. So with your students, you can follow along as Paul learns what it means to be fair and to be a good winner and the importance of telling the truth. Another good Olympic book to share with your kids. Another Winter Games read aloud that, again, I don't actually have, but it looks like this right here, is Wally Raccoon's Farmyard Winter Olympics. Wally Raccoon is excited to join in the Winter Olympics in the farmyard, but he has trouble joining in because event after event aren't quite his specialty. But then a friend comes along and helps him find a sport that he can not only participate in, but excel in as well. The next Winter Olympics book that I have is Max and Marla. Max and Marla are best friends and they are also aspiring Olympians. They go out every day to practice for the Olympics, but a lot of different obstacles get in their way. And through perseverance and hard work, they get through them. But in the end, Max and Marla realize that true joy lies in friendship, not in just winning. An important lesson and a cute story to read aloud before the Winter Olympics. When the Winter Olympics roll around, it's not only great to read aloud books about the actual games themselves, but it's also a great time to talk with students about setting goals, about persevering, about overcoming challenges, because all of that gets wrapped up into what these athletes go through to get to the Olympic Games. So I have a couple more read alouds for you to cover these different topics. The first one I have is Salt in His Shoes. This is a great book for talking about setting goals with students. This is the true story of Michael Jordan, and it's actually written by his mom and his sister. And it talks about how when he was younger, he wanted to become a great basketball star, but he was always too short to play with his older brothers. It talks about how he set that goal and he practiced every day to become a better basketball player. And although he didn't grow taller right away, or as fast as he would have hoped, he practiced every day and became a better basketball player and was able to ultimately score the winning shot in a game with his brothers because of his skills, not because of his height. A great story to talk about setting goals, and I have an interactive read aloud lesson to go along with this. And in this lesson, you can discuss with students what some of their goals are and how they can go about setting those goals. Another great topic to talk about is overcoming challenges. So I have the book Jabari Jumps. This is one of my favorite books. In this story, Jabari really wants to jump off the high dive, but it's really high and he's really nervous. He's facing this challenge and it takes him a little while, but he uses his strengths to overcome it and eventually reach that goal of jumping off the high dive. I have a free interactive read aloud lesson to go along with this one where you can talk with your students about the strengths that they have and some challenges that they've faced and how they can overcome those challenges. A great discussion to have with your students, especially around Olympics time, because all of these athletes that are going for the gold have faced challenges and use their own strengths to overcome them. And the last book I have is actually not a book about sports or athletes, but it is a book about perseverance, which is another strength that all of these athletes have. They've faced these challenges, but they've persevered to get to where they are. This one is called Drum Dream Girl. And in this story, this girl wants to become a drummer, but where she lives, girls aren't allowed to play instruments. So she perseveres and she works hard and she is able to become the drummer, the musician that she knows she can be. And again, I have a read aloud lesson plan to go along with this where you can discuss with students what it means to persevere and why that's so important. And I have activities to go along with it to really bring all of these concepts to life in your classroom and to help your students. Because as we know, setting goals, overcoming challenges, and having perseverance are such important social emotional skills that our students need to learn as they get older. So those are the books that I have to talk about the Winter Olympics and what it takes to get to the Winter Olympics. All the interactive read aloud lessons that I mentioned are linked in the description box down below, along with all of the book titles so that you can grab all of them and they're in one easy spot for you. And before we go, I have a question for you. I want to know, are you more of a Winter Olympics fan or Summer Olympics? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me winter or summer. And if you are looking for books about the Summer Olympics, I have a video all about that right here that you can check out. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button down below because I'll be back next week with more read aloud tips and book ideas that you can use in your classroom right away. Have a great week.